Good afternoon, Mr. and Miss Libras. Welcome to Kiki's Doorway. Let's find out, Libras, what your past life wants you to know for July 12th to July 18th, 2018. But before we do that, I have to give a huge shout out to Kiki's Doorway Star Power Warrior subscribers. So let me get quickly onto that, okay? Miss Williams, Subliminum, The 305 Goddess, Miss Wise, Miss Duo, Mr. Ibrahim, Miss Pollard, Miss Hello Kid Girl for Life, Miss Armstrong, Miss Kimberly, Sacred Wispins, Nicole Matthew, Perry Siri, Humanidas, Unk Dis, Teresa Manor, Wade Shower, Sylvia Candia, Mr. Aldana, Miss Saloon, Nabil, Miss Asim, Mr. Magia, Miss Sean, Mr. Sims, Miss Cabby, Amanda Smith, Shirley Gallianas, Vina Harris, Linda Mickey 0509, Miss Latour, Heaven Lovecat, or Heaven Lovecat, Bernadette Pergolis, and Isaac Capricorn. Wow, thank you, Kiki's Doorway Star Power Warrior subscribers. Thank you. And to all the Kiki's Doorway viewers, thank you for walking through the door towards the Akashi Records. It is an honor. I love what I do. I love connecting with you guys. You help me become the best me. So without further ado, let's get to Libras, okay? So, let's see. God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father. What does Libra's past life want them to recognize for July 12th to July 18th, 2012? 2012. So this is something must have hit you in that year. But we're in 2018. Oh, let's go. What does Libra's past life want them to recognize on July 12th to July 18th, 2018? Okay. I noticed you had, for July 4th to July 11th, you had the tree. That's your past life. I know you've been planting the seeds, so let's see what your actions want you to take. What Libra's actions should be taken for July 12th to July 18th, 2018? What actions should Libras take on July? Woo! Okay. What actions should Libras take on July 12th to July 18th, 2018? What actions should Libras take on July 12th to July 18th, 2018? What will be the actions of Libra to take? Okay, we got it. Okay. So Libras, what does your past life want you to connect to? Wow, this makes sense. Okay. Your past life, Mr. and Miss Libras, wants you to connect to your biblical side of self. On July 4th to July 11th, you connected to the tree elements. You connected to what makes this world fundamentally able to survive. You've seen the natural resources that we get from trees and how it has shaped us spiritually, to the point where in your next life that you had from your past, you connected it to those same principles in the biblical text. Carpenter, the biblical story of Jesus, of his father. His father was a carpenter. He helped build the community. He knew exactly the right amount of wood, which one to cut down, how to replant that same tree for next season, or for it to be used for a family or for the community. Libras, you are well versed in your connections with the tree or earth elements and your spiritual self. Let's see what Dorian Virtue says about biblical for your past life. That is amazing. That is really amazing. So that shows you, Mr. Miss Libras, that now you're aligning yourself to your spiritual and or religious side of yourself. You're finding ways to combine the spiritual principles to your religious practice. So let's see what they say about biblical. Libras, when you read about Jesus, when you read about Jesus, Moses, or other biblical figures, you know that there's more to the story because you, yes, you, Mr. and Miss Libras, were there. And that could be not just in Christianity, any Messiah, Messiah leader that was in religion, no matter what your culture is, has a particular religion that connects to similar stories like Jesus. So let's continue. Either you were a follower of Jesus or Moses, or you lived in the Holy Land. That makes sense why on July 4th to July 11th you had the past life of the trees. You were so connected to the trees that you've seen the religious aspect of how we use those same principles in our daily lives, to a point where when it came to lead or follow people like Jesus or Moses, you knew that what they say rang true because you felt them for yourself. You may have also had lives alongside other famous biblical figures. I kept thinking of Buddha, Kalima, Shiva. Oh my God. It's so many. But it made me think of so many other cultures and their spirituality and the leaders that they followed. As a result, traditional religious interpretations of the Bible stories don't ring true to you. Libras, you know in your heart and soul what really happened. As such, you tend to follow your own religions or own religious and spiritual path. If you witness the crucifixion, you may have emotional scarring stemming from the heartbreak and horror that followed your beloved teacher's death. Which makes sense, because since your past life, you were and are connected to spiritual leaders. You were once the carpenter. It must have hurted you to see Jesus on the cross, because in order to make a cross, Romans in those times, Greek and Roman period, they had to use bark. They had to use trees to make the symbol of the cross, to crucify people. To crucify people that they deemed as wrongdoing, or they crucified people that they considered rebels, or they crucified people that they considered as criminals. You were there, and it must have hurted that your occupation was one of the things that the politics at that time used to crucify such a divine person, or even it made you relook at how crucifixion was even done. So that would explain why you still had the principles, but yet you took them and held the purity of them and kept that to your heart and to your chest. I can see why religion can be very hurtful for you. Let's see how to heal that. These reactions may have caused you to shut down your spiritual sight, clairvoyance, and other gifts. Yes, you have a clairvoyant gift. You're Libras are truly empaths. In order for you to have the scales of justice, you have to be intuitive. You have to have the spiritual teachings and the emotions to go by it. So that would explain why in your past life you were connected to the Bible. To reconnect with your God-given abilities, pray for help from the biblical figures whom you, Mr. and Mrs Libras, whom you feel most connected to. You'll learn that they have forgiven all transgressions and have moved on with their spiritual lives, and they'll help you do the same. I wouldn't be surprised that when you heal that, you will see that you are the reincarnation of Jesus. You are the reincarnation of Moses. You are the reincarnation of Buddha. You are the reincarnation of Shiva. You are the reincarnation of so many spiritual teachers. Yes, in the past life, you had to witness a lot of injustice. Now, Libras, you can set the course of justice, because guess what? You made sure in this life to be a Libra, so to set right what was once wronged. So let's see what actions you will take on July 12th to July 18th. Mr. and Miss Libras. Wow, that's very deep. Oh wow, and it's going to get even better. The actions you would take, Mr. and Miss Libras, is the Four of Fire. You have the solid foundation of Aries side of yourself, which is the passion. You have that grounded earth energy, Taurus side of yourself. You know exactly how to communicate your spiritual side of yourself. Do your Gemini aspect, the communicative side. And you know how to show that Cancerian nurturing side of whatever you say and act in this life. And to top it off, you have the source, Golden Dragon. So for July 12th to July 18th, YouTube or Google what Golden Dragon animal totem means. That way, that could be your blueprint on how you're going to portray yourself for July 12th to July 18th. Contentment, peace, and abundance. A happy home life. The successful completion of a project. From you aligning your spiritual aspect of yourself to your religious side, you will become content and at peace and full of abundance. So much so that whatever you say, do, and feel, it would exude out of you, and people will start to ask you, hey, Mr. and Miss Libras, how are you so happy? How are you so content? And you'll be able to express that through your actions, through your words, how you express yourself, and what kind of emotions you do. And you'll know that based on the intuitions and that empathy that you sense from others. You know exactly what to say and how to say it, so others can resonate and connect with you and relook at how they look at biblical texts. The next action, you will look at that King of Fire. It went from 4 to the King of Fire. So Mr. and Miss Libras, you are now the King of Fire. You are now that motivational speaker, that idealistic motivator. You will, and right now, am ambitious. You are ambitious. You are very charismatic. Look at that. Look at the dragon. It went from golden to now rainbow. You are now holding the universal truth of humanity on your side in the form of a dragon. You know exactly where you're going to go. You know exactly how you want to express, vocalize, relearn, relive, and relove aspects of the Bible that you have dismissed. Now with mature eyes and mature life experiences, now you could go back to those things that you have dismissed or shunned and see why you had to do that. to become more aligned in it and more solid and grounded in your convictions and how you want to express them. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision. And it goes right back to the biblical. Your past life, you were alongside spiritual leaders. You were a spiritual leader. Now is the time to communicate with vision and become that leader that you once were. Advice from someone creative. Libras, if you're concerned of the next step of communicating your spiritual side, the elements, the fire, water, earth, air, which is the elements that you learned through the tree from July 4th to July 11th, ask someone that you feel, Mr. and Mrs Libras, are creative and that are also intuitive. Ask them how they see you. If they had to connect you to a biblical leader, what would it be? So on July 12th to July 18th, Mr. and Mrs Libras, go to someone, go to people that you feel are very creative and ask them, how do they view you based on your personality, based on your actions, based on who you are? If they had to connect you to a biblical leader, who would it be? That way, that will help you feel more content and at peace with yourself, and that will bring in more abundance, because once you know more about yourself, how you walk and how you talk will attract the very thing that you are. So until we meet again, Mr. and Mrs Libras, you are that archetype of Jesus. You are that archetype of Moses. You are that embodiment of Buddha. Exude that. Ask people how they view you in a biblical way. And it could be in any religion. You'll be surprised that the answers you get are universal. Just like the spiritual leaders of our past had to be. Those are the things that you will become. And this time you will not be crucified, but you will be uplifted, rejoiced, and protected by others. So until we meet again, I and we will see you on the other side.